Yo, what's up? It's Jay Dennis. Today I'm doing something that I'm really excited to do, and that is ranking one of my all-time favorite bands, Sum 41. The band that basically, along with Green Day, got me into playing guitar back when I was 13 in 2004. Sum 41's been a huge band throughout most of my life, since I was a kid, since I was 10, back when they were getting popular, and up until today. Now they have 8 albums. And today I'm going to rank them, and funny enough, I already recorded the video, but it came out way too fucking long, so I'm going to try to make it a little bit shorter now. So without further ado, let's get this started. At the number 8 spot, and again, this is from worst to best, number 8, we have Half Hour of Power. Now, like with every other ranking album that I do, the worst album isn't necessarily a bad album. I like the album. It was fun to listen to back in the day. It's got really solid tracks and singles like What I Believe, Makes No Difference. You know, those songs are like on American Pie and shit. But some bands, their first album is just not their most mature release. So it's called Half Hour of Power because that's literally like their set list. They called it their Half Hour of Power because this is the stuff they play live. So who knows how much real songwriting was involved in this, but it's a great album. I gave it 7.5 out of 10. It's got 11 tracks and it's 26 minutes, so it's not really a half hour. My favorite tracks are What I Believe, Makes No Difference, and Dave's Possessed Hair, What We're All About, even though I prefer the What We're All About part more. Alright. Number 7, 13 Voices. Now, how can an album like this be so low on the list? By the way, this album came out in 2000. This album came out in 2016. This was kind of the comeback album. It was the comeback album because Dave Brownstown was back in the band. Derek Wigley is all healthy and rehabbed and everything. But unfortunately, you could really feel Steve-O's departure in this. And I don't know if Frank Zumo is necessarily technically better or a worse drummer, but his writing in the albums just isn't as high energy or as fun as Steve-O's. So you kind of feel like there's something missing in the newer Sum 41 material. And even though Dave came back, you don't really hear it too much in the rhythm section. This album, along with their new album, were both produced by Derek Wigley, so I don't know if any outside influence came in or how much writing Dave did outside of the guitar solos. So honestly, outside of the 3 singles, you know, Fake My Own Death, God Save Us All, and not War, but the title track, 13 Voices, which isn't a single. Yeah. Those 3 tracks are amazing. I love 13 Voices. It's a great title track. The single War, although it's not a bad song, it kind of sounds like a stripped down version of Some Say. So it's not a bad album, it's not that great. It's kind of some killer, mostly filler. But I'm happy they're back, I'm happy they're performing. And this album it is worth listening to. They're all worth listening to. This is 10 tracks and it's 38 minutes long. Number 6, we have Screaming Bloody Murder, which I don't have the physical album, so I printed this out. This album came out in 2011. My first impression of it back in the day was not that great, but then a little while later I got into it, listened to the whole thing, and it ended up becoming like a soundtrack to my fall of 2012. But this album and the following album, the number 5 album, are actually kind of tied, but I give this one the slight disadvantage because although it's got a couple killer tracks on there like Jessica Kill, Back Where I Belong, and Sick of Everything, this album just does not open and close. Well, I wouldn't say close. It doesn't open on the strongest note. So it's got a couple lulls in there, but out of the 14 tracks, that's kind of one of the redeeming qualities about this album, is the amount of content on it. It's got 14 tracks, and it's 48 minutes long. So I'd say, unlike 13 Voices, like, at least half the album is pretty solid. Maybe even 3/4 of it's pretty solid, but then, a couple tracks are just pretty weak. So, dig this album, but it's just a little too theatrical for me, so that's why I didn't rank as high. Speaking of new albums, number 5, we have Order and Decline, the album that just came out 2 weeks ago, inspired me to make this video. and has the slightest advantage over like just a hair's advantage over Screaming Bloody Murder because of personal bias. The key that they played and the tone that they use, it kind of strikes a nostalgia feeling for me. Just with the way it opens and closes. So it kind of sandwiches itself in a good way. And even though it's only 10 tracks and 36 minutes long, it's a pretty solid album. I would say out of the 10 tracks, maybe 8 of them are really good, maybe 7. But the singles on here are really good. Out for Blood, Death in the Family. Never There, the ballad, is better than the ballad from 13 Voices. So, and then there's a song on there called The People Verses. That's the fucking best Sum 41 song I've heard in a long time. It's the closest thing to old school Sum 41 I've heard in a long time. But, it's pretty much the only song on there that has like any insane rhythm. Again, you don't hear riffing in 13 Voices or Order and Decline the way you hear in their older material, which sucks because I thought that's what Dave brought to the band, along from some of the deadly solos that you hear. But no, I gave this album an 8 out of 10, along with Scream Bloody Murder. I gave them both 8 out of 10s. It's a solid album. It's better than 13 Voices in my opinion, so I'm really glad they put it out. But you just really feel Steve-O's absence on this, and the rhythm section could be stronger. The guitar work leaves some to be desired. My favorite tracks on here are Out for Blood, The People Verses, and probably the opening track, Turning Away. I also like Death in the Family. Alright, next up, All Killer No Filler. It's missing the booklet. My friend gave this to me. It's my first Sum 41 album right here. My friend gave this to me back in the day. He said he lost the booklet. He said it was hanging on his wall, because that's what you did with Sum 41 booklets. You hung them up on the wall. And this is the album that has pretty much most of their major singles on it, Fat Lip, In Too Deep. I've been listening to Sum 41 since 2001 because of Fat Lip. Skateboarding, playing with tech deck dudes. It's the turn of the century. I was only 10 years old, but I was in it, man. But this is just a very classic Sum 41 album. It's hard to rank this one low. It's a really good album. Songs like Motivation and, of course, Fat Lip made me want to pick up guitar and learn it. Like, this album is pretty much, most of the top 4 are pretty much the reason I picked up guitar, along with, like, Green Day's American Idiot album. But this album is pretty much mostly all killer, no filler. It aged really well. The old me would have said out of the 13 tracks, maybe 11 were good. I would probably say pretty much all of them were good. Pain for Pleasure, I don't really count as a track. But overall, it's a solid album. Aside from the singles, obviously Fat Lip, In Too Deep, and Motivation are amazing, but my favorite track is probably Handle This, and I love Heart Attack. Heart Attack's really good. So, that's that one. 13 tracks, 32 minutes. What am I at now? I'm doing a little better on time this time. Right? Alright. Next up, number 3 spot. Again, don't own the physical album, so it's paper. Sum 41, Underclass Hero. Came out in 2007, my junior year of high school. And I got it when it came out. Listened to it a lot. Listened to it a lot my senior year too. This album aged very well. I'm surprised it actually ranked as high as it did, but I went back and listened to it. It's got a lot of content. It has 14 tracks and it's 48 minutes, just like Scream Bloody Murder. But even though Dave left the band, they still had Steve-O. And even though Dave didn't leave on bad terms, they kind of gave him the, yeah, we can play guitar well even without you, man. The guitar work on this album is insane. Fucking songs like, what's it called? March the Dogs, The Jester, Pull the Curtain. All great guitar work. The guitar work on Underclass Hero, the title track, is pretty catchy. What's that song called? Walking Disaster is a really good single. So is With Me. This is just a longer version of All Killer No Filler. Not in terms of sound, but just in terms of like good quality music. It opens and closes on a high note. Funny story. When I was a senior and I would bring my guitar to school to play for the ladies, one of the songs I would play a lot and sing and get good feedback on was one of the last tracks on this album. It was called So Long Goodbye. Really simple song, but it got the job done. But yeah, Pull the Curtain, The Jester, and March of the Dogs are probably my favorite tracks. March of the Dogs was a great song to open, or to tease the album with. So, aged super well. But let's talk about an even older album that aged even better. Number 2, Does This Look Infected? This album came out in 2002. I got it in 2004. The Hell Song is the first song I ever learned on guitar. I learned that opening riff. Speaking of riff, again, the riffs on this album, like on the Hell Song and Over My Head, you don't hear shit like that anymore on the newer stuff. It's mostly just power chords and 4/4, but this one actually gets really technical and good with the riffs. It's not hard to play, but like the guitar work and the energy of this album is just so high, it's so fun, it's so pissed off, and I love it. Hyperinsomnia Parachondroid, however the fuck you say all that. Hooch, Thanks for Nothing were basically like my middle school angst songs. You know, I'd get on the bus, I'd be pissed because my girlfriend broke up with me. And this album just basically covers all the bases. I gave this album a 9 out of 10. It has 12 tracks and it's 31 minutes, so it's a little shorter, but it's almost perfect. It's just, on some levels it's a little too perfect, or a little too simple, but a lot of the simplicity in a lot of the areas adds a lot of value to it. Favorite tracks, again, are Hooch, which is the ending track, Hyperinsomnia Parachondroid, Thanks for Nothing, and yeah, every song is my favorite. Alright, I love this album. Fucking get it. Oh, and if you're lucky, you'll get the live DVD that comes with it when they played in London back in 2001. Speaking of one. Number 1 album. Chuck! Yes! Fucking love this album. I fucking love this album. This is one of those albums where if you said, you know, when I'm big and famous with Raptor Riot, they're like, what are 5 albums that shaped you to the musician you are today? This is going to be one of them. Oh, what are 5 albums that you would take to you on a desert island? This one. I would fucking take this one 1,000 times. Start to finish, it's fucking flawless. This album gets a perfect 10 out of 10. It is 13 tracks and 42 minutes. So, the way Does This Look Infected took All Killer No Filler to a different level with the maturity and the intensity. They took it even further with this album. They tuned the guitars down half a step, played even in, you know, C sharp a little bit for a couple tracks to kind of just add that evil sound to it. They got a little melodic on some of the tracks, like Some Say and Pieces, but who cares? They're amazing songs. And as for the other 11 tracks, or the intro and Slipping Away are they're transition songs. So the other 9 tracks are heavy as fuck, dude. So they really cranked out the guitar work for this album. Technically speaking, this is the most great album in terms of guitar work. Drumming is great. Vocals are intense. Just from top to bottom, this is their best album. Hands down, you can't fuck with it. The song No Reason is like just a major alternative anthem. And again, this is a quintessential early 2000s alternative album. If you're thinking about an era and a genre of like the alternative boom of the early to mid 2000s, this is one of the major albums that played a role in that. So, if you've never listened to the album Chuck before, fucking get on it. And hey, Sum 41, why don't you do an anniversary tour of this one? Huh? What's the matter? You can't handle it? Derek, you're fucking out there covering all your other stuff. Yeah? You're touring this one twice. You know, I went to the 10-year one, it was fucking awesome. And then you did a 15-year one, but you won't do Chuck? Come on, man. This is like most people's favorite album from you guys. Like, I know you can't capture lightning in a bottle twice. Maybe if things were a certain way, I don't know. But I fucking love Sum 41. This take came out shorter, so I'm going to end it. That's my ranking. I hope you guys enjoy it. And here is a visual of what the ranking looks like. Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck, let me check. Bonus footage, bonus footage.